Cards are spiking across Magic the Gathering, and your binder might have just made you lucky. Here's the truth about card price jumps, because every time they try to fly, they fall. Hype is fast, and reprints happen, so it's best to realize gains when you can, and not get lost in the game, oh baby. Hey, by the way, I'm Joel. I've been playing Magic for over 20 years, and it's my job to keep you ahead of your favorite and most expensive hobby. Subscribe, and I'll do that. Today, we're going to blitz through the biggest climbers, the real catalysts behind them, and the exact move I would make on each. If you own it, let's decide if you want to join the circus and take advantage of some of these criminal prices. Joel R Magic is brought to you by Card Conduit, the easiest way to sell your Magic the Gathering cards. If you've got a stack of singles collecting dust, head to Card Conduit to use their price check and collection estimator tools to see exactly what you could be getting for your cards. Then you can register a shipment and choose from 3 flexible service types to give you the best balance of effort and value. Whether you just want to pack and ship or you want to do a little bit of prep to save on fees, they've got you covered. Once they process your shipment, you'll get a full report and fast payment via direct deposit, PayPal, Zelle, or check. It's painless, quick, and the easiest experience you've ever had selling your Magic cards, I promise. Join the tons of happy customers that have sold their cards quickly and easily to Card Conduit, and make sure to use that code JOEL when you check out and save 10% on your fees. Arena of the Ancients from Chronicles and Legends took a creator short ride to the moon overnight. That's the whole story, basically. Viral clip, old card, simple hate effect that reads like a silver bullet for legend heavy pods. Chronicles copies were under $1 when the month started, and now TCG low for a light play copies like $8. Here's the truth about social spikes. The graph goes up when the view count goes up, and then gravity brings it back down. I promise this card does not lock tables unless your deck is already built for it, and ETB commanders just laugh as they don't care at all. Not every commander wants to attack. The passive ability is often enough, so if you have bulk copies in Legends or Chronicles boxes, I'd say take the free money on buylist while the spreads are still kind. You can seriously sell your Chronicles copies near mint to Card Conduit for $9 right this moment. That's pretty crazy. Sell into the hype while the comments are still arguing about how this hoses the whole meta. I promise you, Arena of the Ancients does not play as well as it reads. Miles Morales decks are doing real work for Gavony, Township, and Uncivil Unrest. Team-wide counters on everything, plus that damage doubling just turns a fair beatdown into a 2-turn clock. But here's the reason why they're popping. Township upgrades every suit up permanently, while Uncivil converts those counters into trampling nightmares that end games. These are pretty predictable movers when a counter's commander hits, and they always cool off as supply filters back in. If you have extras right now, Gavony Township was $1 a few weeks ago, and you can sell near mint copies to Card Conduit for about $4, and Uncivil Unrest was at $10 a couple of weeks ago, and now it's over $20. They'll buy list for $12 or $13, but that number might even go up if we don't see a reprint next year. Commander only on Uncivil means the spikes are going to be sharp, and the reprint retraces will be real. So let me know what deck this has been in for you. This card's so crazy. Miles is sending quite a few cards, actually, not just those 2. And tell me if you've used this thing before. Ozolith, the Shattered Spire. 2 mana, legendary synergy, counters, adder, plus dropper. It scales with every future set that says +1/+1 counters matter. This gets buzz every time a counter commander pops, and then the price walks up the stairs because it's simply correct cardboard in anything with green counters. Animar, Proliferate Shells, and likely Genova Mutants if TMNT players branch into mutant like +1 counter piles. This is in that weird $10 but rising space. A reprint, if and when it happens, will help tamp down the price of this, but every time anyone reaches for a card for the 99 or a green +1 counter shell, this card's gonna tick up. Speaking of TMNT, Takeo, the Patient Avalanche, is a card I told you about a few weeks ago when it was under $5, and hello, we're above 12 now. Ninja's strategies are certainly going to get support from TMNT. We've seen that, but I would personally part with these. If you own copies, profit while the Turtle Fever is new and hot, and we don't know if this is going to get reprinted in a secret layer or something. If you purchased a few of these at $5 or less just over a month ago, you can now buy list them for no hassle at just under $10. Nice moves. Another Spider legend, Gwen Stacy, is pushing 2 chaos-friendly all-star card prices up. Base copies of Ensnared by the Mara are up from bulk to around $5, with extended copies buy listing for $5 straight up. And Wild Magic Sorcerer has gone from bulk at the beginning of the year to $5 to nearly $10, buy listing right now for like $6, no hassle. Here's the truth. Cards like this surge whenever a popular commander highlights them, and will until they show up in a meaningful way and prices fall off a cliff. If you own extras, I would say just sell now while Gwen is trending. If you're new to the party, I'd wait on at least Wild Magic Sorcerer to show up again to buy a copy of it. A reprint kills both of these, but they do have potential to slowly tick up. The meme is, oh, it's good and prosper because it plays well with spells cast from exile. Ensnared by the Mara, to me, feels like the more difficult card to reprint overall, but it's still in that $5, $4 range. That's still a decent pickup. Gwen Stacy isn't moving just those two red cards. It's got Birgi, God of Storytelling, spiking again because she's perfect in Gwen wanting to storm off a little, but also perfect in Norman Osborn, where you want to discard cards, and honestly, it's perfect anywhere you turn small spells into long turns. This card has gone up 35% from 15 up to 22 or 23 market, and Card Conduit will buy a near mint copy from you straight up for $18.50. I love when buy list is like barely off market price. I'm going to try and highlight that a little more often so that y'all can see how easily you could cash in some of these cards just by giving up $1 or $2 for convenience in some cases. This card to me does seem a little bit harder to reprint. It's a flip card. It's a named legend from a very specific plane, but it's also been a long time since we've been to Kaldheim, and $20 legends like this work really great to push secret layers. So I would say if you have multiples, peel some of them off now into the cross commander demand from Spider-Man, and if you need one to play, add it to your watch list and be patient. By the way, Norman Osborn made Attunement a real card again. Draw 3, discard 4, bounce to hand, repeat until you sculpt the perfect graveyard in hand. It's a loot compactor that Norman actually wants, and you can just use the stuff you're tossing in the bin anyway. Look, this card is old and scarce. It's up nearly 90% in the last month to $13 for a light play copy, and buy lists don't even really believe in this short-term bounce. They'll give you $8.50 for a copy of Attunement. Near mint copies that you might have laying around, honestly, might not be the worst idea to just get rid of these. It's very specific to Osborn or discard commanders that might take advantage. I'd say list them or trade them while Norman builders still think it's secret tech. If you want to buy one of these, maybe wait a couple of weeks. I think that people will probably realize this and list them lower in a few weeks if you really need this. And know that this card kind of falls in that weird niche spot, right? As long as we see it's only been printed in Urza's Saga, the scarcity will drive this card whenever there is a discard commander that just doesn't care about freely discarding more than they draw, with blue in the color identity. Let me know if you have any old copies of Attunement that you're able to get rid of here, and what you would do if you would buy this one right now if you would just wait. I think this comes down. Anti-Venom lists are poking two weirdo cards, Entangler and Phyrexian Vindicator. TCGplayer today has Entangler around $8 market. Most of the population is damaged, and light play copies listed around like $5. And I'll tell you, that spread just screams cash out if you can. Vindicator from 1 sits nearer to about $9 market on your base frame, with the showcase and the stepping complete listings over 30. I'd say Vindicator's the crazier one, as that move from $2 to around 10 is pretty rare, but it's basically commander redundancy, and Anti-Venom gave us the option to have this strategy in the command zone. It's less likely if you've got copies of Entangler around, but you may actually have a few Vindicators. I say sell or trade both into this spike, as the applicability here is just so niche with both cards, and I personally don't think Entangler's as good as people are giving it credit for, but whatever. Card Conduit will give you like $4 or $5 for base non-foil near mint copies. Kefka Court Mage decks have given Thassa Deep Dwelling fresh legs, or tail, fish tail, fishtail, I guess. Base, the DD is up 20% to like $26 market right now. And the showcase one, the Constellation one, has actually fallen to near $20 or $21. If you had these sitting around and you grabbed them under 10 or 15 bucks in the last couple of years, you're paid. I would say list the copy of this or two into this wave. If you need one to play, I would set a reminder for when this gets reprinted and target less than this after this honeymoon period and hopefully after a reprint. If you're just not using your copies of Thassa Deep Dwelling at all, base non-foil copies of Thassa Deep Dwelling are selling for about $19.50 non-foil there. So looking at that price as I'm recording this video, I would consider just taking the clean cash and moving on. This is a great card, but it's pretty reprintable with all the bonus sheets and secret layers running around nowadays. I would have said it's way too specific. A legend and legendary enchantment god and destructible only fit specific places, but bonus sheets and secret layers, the reprints are just kind of unimaginable. I remember opening a ton of Dominaria and pulling Cabal Stronghold. Man, it's a worse Cabal coffers. Well, they may have been under $1 rares then, but it's one of 3 solid risers I've seen moving. Solid riser, nickname of yours in college. Strionic Resonator varies wildly by printing. M25 stock is a lot of heavy and moderately played copies and sits like 4 to 5 market, while the MOM Commander version more recent copies are like 7 market for near mint. You've got Cabal Stronghold around $13, $12 market with the promo versions higher, and then you've got Alamoret's Archive around $19, $20 market depending on the printing. All 3 of these cards have solid generic playability, but mostly are just kind of starting to age reprint-wise. They're all good cards, but none of them are ubiquitous enough to hold value through a reprint. The Archive dropped from $20 to $5 the last time it was reprinted, and that reprint was in a pre-con. So if your copies aren't in use, clip the profits now into this uptick. Card Conduit price check says they'll buy your Alamoret's Archive, no questions asked, for $18.50 right now near mint. Look, consider converting hype into cash on cards that you're not actively sleeving, and then set alerts or follow me here for sane re-entries. If you love a card, don't sell it. I just know you've got some cards in your binder gathering dust that could help buy that next stack of singles for your decks. If a Card Conduit quote gets you close to TCG low after their fee structure, don't overthink it. Lock the win, redeploy it into decks you'll actually play. Subscribe and I'll keep you ahead. Join the Patreon for perks.